Well, he tried to call for help. However, unfortunately all he could do was open and close himself very, very rapidly, which you might imagine didn't do much. So he sat there for a while, Al was completely confused and couldn't find him, until one day, Winry smelled the milk which had since gone bad, and found him.
Switch.
Edward.
When we found the bad milk and was extremely disgusted by it, she decided to give it to the dog. Because he doesn't mind milk with detergent usually. So she went out to look for the dog, but he seemed to be missing. She decided to call Aki Con to see if he knew where he was. So she called him up, but instead Mustang answered the phone.
Switch.
After Winry told Mustang the situation with Edward and her missing dog, Mustang has no idea how to respond. So he simply says, "That's like a plan," and decides to bring
Story.
Armstrong with them to go look for the missing dog.
Switch.
However, when they get there, Winry is somehow, for some reason, has yet to throw away the milk, which Ed decided he's going to finally try to talk again and started opening and closing himself, like the carton part, and Winry freaked out and accidentally dropped him on the floor. Armstrong and Mustang were just like, okay, so she dropped the milk. And Armstrong kind of went to grab a mighty rag and to clean it with his mighty muscles, which now Edward is now transferred into the cloth.
Switch.
After cleaning the room and leaving Edward even more frustrated, Armstrong utilized the tracking techniques which have been handed down through generations of the Armstrong family to go find Winry's dog. However, he was unsuccessful because the dog had in fact been transformed into a wrench.
Switch.
So, after Edward was transferred to the dish rag, he decided to pretend like he was a ghost, because what else did you do when you're a sheet of white cloth? So the dish rag began floating around, and then he realized, whoa, that wrench totally looks like a transformed dog. How do I know that? I'm a rag. So, meanwhile, he decided, as my life is a rag, perhaps I should clean things.
Switch.
Deciding that his big purpose in life was to clean anything he could, he went through many disgusting things that anyone thinks is clean. He cleaned things from dirty dishes to toilets, and soon he started to grow tired of his life with dish rags.
Switch.
Not only that, but now he started to smell, seeing first he was covered in bad milk, leftover food, and now toilet water. Also, Winry noticed that this rag was starting to smell and start to grow mold, and thought, I need to take this to the backyard and bury it somewhere. So she just took it, and for some reason the wrench as well, because she needs to go, wherever she goes, she needs to have a wrench with her. And started to dig in the dirt with the wrench to bury the cloth. And Edward and Al, being still distraught that his brother was gone, was still running around now been several weeks or possibly months since his disappearance.
Switch.
Sadly, despite all of Edward's attempts, Winry did not realize that he was in fact a rag, and Edward was buried alive. Fortunately, or unfortunately, fortunately he was a rag, and therefore did not need to breathe. Unfortunately, it meant he would be trapped underground for all eternity. The wrench, on the other hand, did a little better, as it still got to be with Winry, and she in fact used it every day to fix automail.
Switch.
Meanwhile, the magical girl responsible for all of this mess was prancing across the countryside when Mustang spotted her and was like, "How do?" And she was like, "I'm going to turn you into a rat because I don't like being hit on like that." So she turned him into a rat, and Black Coyote decided to chase the rat into the sewers where he found Envy. And Envy was like, "This rat seems oddly familiar. It has that annoying look like Mustang. Perhaps I should kill it." So,
Switch.
So Envy lunging in to attack the Mustang turned rat. Unexpectedly, the Mustang in rat form spit fire into Envy's eyes and scurried along the pipeline. Luckily to escape from Envy as riding in chains.
Switch.
And then as Roy ran off, he was sitting there thinking, wait, if I am a rat, then perhaps a similar fate has fallen upon the dog and Edward. I wonder what fitting end happened to Edward. Perhaps he turned into milk and he hates it so much. That would be hilarious. As he scurried along and found his way back to the surface. Which, of course, he went straight to find Winry and Armstrong to tell them the news until he realized, wait, I'm still a rat, so how am I supposed to talk to them? So he went on a search himself, scurrying around and trying to find where everyone went.
Switch.
And then the earth shook, as Edward, having by now gone completely insane from being trapped and buried underground, had regained his alchemical powers and sought to unmake the world. The entire town was destroyed in a matter of minutes. Only Armstrong, Mustang the rat, Winry, and Wrench the dog, or Dog the Wrench, depending on how you look at it, escaped with their lives. The magical girl and any hope of transforming Edward back into his normal form were destroyed when they fell into a pit of lava that had once been the town bar.
Switch. Give it a good ending.
As the majority of them were dead, Winry said, "Oh no, now my only choice of a male companion is a rat or Armstrong." Thus she decided to just go with the magical girl. And so the two of them got married and lived happily ever after.
Okay.